talk about belt squatting. And as you know, I've been a really big fan of Matt Wenning's belt squat machine, which you can probably see in the corner over there. We just got Squatmax. This is a local guy named Brian Hennessy. He's out of Pennsylvania, former NFL player. He actually blew out his back, and he needed to find a way to train his lower body, so he designed this piece. That's what kind of inspired it. So I really love this thing, and I do think I'm still going to use Matt's piece. I want to kind of go over some of the similarities, the differences, and also some of the inherent benefits, and also maybe some of the inherent downfalls, if you will. And I'll kind of explain why one might be better for certain exercises or one might be better for a certain situation. I think both are great. That being said, I'm really loving this one, and I find I'm probably going to start to use this one a little bit more for myself personally, and I'll kind of explain why I'm going to be using Matt's machine a little bit more for our group setting. But I'm just going to kind of go over all the features first, because there are some unique features to this that make it different. One of the things that I really love about it is the small footprint. You can see this fits on exactly one horse stall mat. So for a home gym, I think bar none. Also, it's the lowest price point for any belt squat. I think it was about $1,300. In comparison, I think Matt's over $3,000. There's a lot of different models out there. This is the most affordable. So as far as for a price point, if you're looking at price, you can't really find a better option for a home gym. It's the smallest footprint as well. So I think in that sense, for a home gym, it's going to be your best bang for the buck, literally. So I'm going to go over some of the unique features of it. So what I really like about this is the box squat feature. So if you want to kind of regulate your height, whether it be due to an injury or if you just want to kind of take a little bit more pressure off the knees, you can kind of adjust this height. There's a pulling pin here, very easy to adjust. I can adjust the seat up and down, and obviously, you can also use this seat. There will be actually, it's going to come out with some more attachments, so there will be a pad that goes on here. If I also wanted to kind of just do it, use this for, upper body type motions, or if you're, even like, I know Brian used it for box jumps. It's a little bit narrow for box jumps for me. I prefer to, but you could use it for a lot of different things. I can kind of use this for running and stuff. And eventually, what's going to end up happening is he's going to have some J cups that go onto here, so I can also use this as a single row attachment. So you can kind of just imagine if I put it on that side, and I kind of hang over the top, grab the bar. So that's not available yet. That will be available in August, but that's kind of going to be some added features that kind of go on to it. I think he's also adding a reverse hyper feature. So there's going to be more add-ons that come later. So once I get those attachments, I will do another video. So obviously, this is a box side here. So the other kind of benefit to this, to the box, it also serves as a safety mechanism. So if I do get caught here, I can unhook myself as well. So it's going to serve as a safety feature, as well as if I want to kind of set a certain height for people. So this is kind of actually a little bit low right now, so that's fine. And you can also just pull it out of the way if you're not using it. Like I mentioned before, this is also a very good height for like step ups and things like that. So I can use this for step ups. I can come here and do this. Use this for bridges. I can do this for a lot of other things. For weaker athletes, this is a very good height for push-ups. So there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of do with this particular height, which is nice. Some other features, this loading pin actually comes out, so I could actually use it with the belt for loaded pull-ups. Just any really kind of hanging exercise where you're kind of loading yourself, look for loaded dips. So this could also be used as just a regular loading pin, really for a bunch of different exercises. So if you do want to load up pull-ups, dips, things like that, this also comes out, which just for the sake of time. This can be loaded with weight. There's 100 pounds in here. And also, if you guys look at the bottom, it also can be loaded with band tension, which I like. So lots of different combinations. You can use accommodating resistance or straight weight or both. So right now this is a pretty good weight for most people. I'm using higher reps right now, so you can see we have a combination of weight and band resistance on here. What's also nice is with the belt, it's super comfortable and super adjustable. So you have these multiple loops here. So not just due to your width, but also if I bring the carabiner higher up toward the top of the belt, it's going to give me more band tension. So that's also a way I can instantly make an adjustment in the load without actually changing the weight, which is a really cool feature. So that's a really cool, unique. So I think his belt is No offense to Spud, because I love this is more comfortable. It's just a better design, it's a better belt than some of the other belt squats out there. I think Spud's belts are great, but this one is more versatile, and this is my favorite belt squat belt on the market right now. It's more adjustable and there's a lot of versatility. Now that being said, this is one of the downsides. I think there is a learning curve to some of these things. So again, for athletes that are newer, they're going to have to figure out which loop they're on. It's going to be a little bit more time consuming as far as teaching how to use it. So the Spud belt, you just kind of clip on, and there's really no learning curve to it. There's a little bit of a learning curve. You're going to have to figure out which loop is good for you, which loop is good for your resistance. So since it's more adjustable, it's also going to take it's a higher learning curve. So this would be more best for a coaching situation when you're working with somebody one-on-one, maybe not a large group. So the large group, the Wenning belt squat with the belt's going to be easier. It's also, Wenning's belt squats, also it's just easier to get the plates on and off. It's easier just to kind of load it. It's also easier to actually just start squatting. It's just more user-friendly. So in a bigger kind of a commercial gym setting, a collegiate setting, a team group setting, I think Wenning's machine makes more sense. But for a home gym setting or a one-on-one personal training setting or for personal use, this is going to allow for more versatility. So because it has more versatility, it's going to be better, again, for more higher level technical kind of use. If you're working with larger groups, you may not want to have so many variables because it can be confusing for people. So I hope that kind of makes sense on kind of the pros and cons of it. So let's kind of go through some more of the features. If you want to do marching exercises, which we'll show in a bit, you can kind of put this pad over the top. It pops right in. So now I can do marching exercises on here, which we'll show in a second. So that's a marching platform. Very simple. So a lot of this stuff is pretty quick adjustments. If I want to do regular kind of medium or wide stance squats, I can just kind of just start squatting here. If I want to do close stance work, you put on this close stance platform like so, just like this. Good, we just got to make sure that it popped in here, so one side wasn't in, so I just readjust it. This kind of pops in like that. I also want to kind of show you in real time, so now I can do a much closer stance squat if I want to work my quads a little bit more if I'm just more comfortable. Another thing, this is not included, but if you want to make it even more quad dominant, you could add in like a squat wedge. We cut these up from PC Strength or Prime Mix them as well. So I can also add a squat wedge if I want to make it even more quad dominant, or if someone has ankle mobility issues, they don't have weightlifting shoes. So you could add a squat wedge to the close stance platform as well. The last way you can make it more quad dominant or more hip dominant is using this transformer pin. So I want you guys to see this. So this kind of changes the moment arm. So by putting the resistance here, so if I'm, again, putting this over the midfoot, this pin is going to make this further away from my knees, making it more quad dominant. And if I put it the other way, it's going to make it further away from my hip, which is going to make it more hip dominant. So this pin is really handy. It's called a transformer pin, so it could really change what we call a moment arm. So it changes the physics of the exercise if you want to make it more hip or quad dominant, depending on what muscles you want to work. So in terms of bodybuilding or in terms of bringing up weak points, this is excellent. It's going to change the load quite a bit. And if you don't want to use the transformer pin, that's fine. For just a kind of an average kind of glute and leg workout, you can just put it in the center. So now we're going to kind of go through some of the different exercises. So obviously, like with a close stance squat, the execution is pretty similar to a wide stance squat. So I'm just going to take the platform off and start doing some exercises. Okay, so I'm going to go through here. So I'm going to put the belt on. So a good kind of rule of thumb is just to actually just go sit on the seat. So this is a little bit low for me, but normally I just sit on the seat just for the sake of time. So I'm just going to go at like a medium setting here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're working with groups, you may want to put like colored tape or something on, just kind of assign a color or something like that. You want to make sure that the resistance is through your midfoot And I'm just going to stand up like a regular belt squat. Now this is going to take more stability because it's a free weight here. It's not like on a lever machine. And these twist out. Now I can start squatting. If I want to use more balance, I can do like kind of a half field squat and hold onto the handles, or I can just squat normal, straight up and down. I could also come here, or I could do a prisoner squat. So again, if I want to hold the handles for balance, I can. And again, if I want to adjust the resistance, I can come up higher. And now I'm going to get more band tension already immediately without ever having to change the weight. And if I want to change the moment on, so if I want to make this more quad dominant, I can go use the transformer pin. Okay, and now the resistance is in a different spot. I can start squatting this way. So there's a lot of versatility, a lot of different options depending on what your goals are. So then the next thing I want to show is the marching. And obviously I can do this free squat or a box squat. And the marching is really good for glute exercise. So I can just come here. Again, if I want more resistance, I can kind of bring it higher. So I'm going to need to bring it a little bit lower. So if you want to use like smaller weights, great. So that's what I mean. It's a little bit of a learning curve. So right now this feels good for me, and I can just watch with it here. So it takes a little bit more playing with the belts. That's where the learning curve comes in. If someone's like a newer athlete, again, it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome. They're going to need to be coached on a little bit more. So that's a lot of like the basic exercises you can just do with the belt. And one of the things I've been really loving is using the Spud front squat harness. You can also do good mornings. The only kind of downside to this is that you're going to need someone to help clip you in. I'm actually going to use a transformer pin for this. So I'm going to set it on the transformer pin. I'm going to hook in like so. So I'm just going to use the harness to make a front squat with this for good morning. So I could sit back, or I could front squat with this harness. But I really like to do a hinge. Like so. So awesome exercise for good mornings. Good. So I'm going to do this back to the center, over here. Good. And again, so it is free weight, so that's why there's a little bit more of a stability component to it than some of the other kind of apparatuses. The last thing I want to do is go through some deadlifting motions. I can use a handle like this. Now the only thing is I'm probably going to have someone, you start it from the bottom usually, okay? So I'm going to need you to swing this out. So now I can deadlift, do a sumo deadlift. So I get a stiff leg, kind of Ukrainian deadlift, or my hamstrings, or a normal sumo. So I can do a sumo deadlift or a stiff leg Great, deadlift, and then you'll have someone in the back, or you kind of start from your body. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do here, but in terms of training your lower body, especially your glutes, it's an amazing tool. This is the Squatmax. I believe it's Overachieve Sports, but I'll include links in the description. I get no kickback on this. Just a great piece of equipment I want to share with you guys. It's a Squatmax. Check it out. Share the links below if you want to support the channel. And I'm a little tired. I just did my deadlift workout this, so I apologize for breathing heavy. Please subscribe if you like the content. Until next time, stay strong, and I'll see you soon.